Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino, Monday, January 15th, 2024, and this is my newest segment of Markets A Look Ahead. People, what I'm all about here for all of you is trying to the best of my ability to keep every single one of you ahead of the curve. I want you to know what's about to happen so you can take advantage of it. If you pay attention to this blog, if you've been with me for any length of time, especially towards the end of last year, I did a series of videos about what we can expect moving into 2024. Now, you can take all of this in from, I guess, two perspectives. Number one, you can be afraid. You can sit back and, be paralyzed by fear and take no action. That's not what I want you to do. What I want you to do is look at this as opportunity. If you and I understand what's going on, why it's happening, who our enemy is, and what they are trying to achieve, that gives us an edge that is frankly incredible. Now, what I want to do is cover something that I believe, if you follow this blog, we're on the same page. And that's what I love about this thing. This is a worldwide phenomenon, in my view, that we have created together. And this thing keeps getting bigger. Thankfully, we're waking up people. We're raising their awareness. And people, instead of allowing themselves to be enslaved by the current system, they can take advantage of it. And again, that's what this is all about to me. So what I'm going to do here is cover a few things here. And I want you to think about what this means, what I'm going to read to you here. This is in your inbox. If you are a subscriber to my free, 100% free newsletter, link in the description of this video, this is in your inbox already. I put this out yesterday. I want to read through this, and I want to cover, again, where the opportunities are for you, for everybody here moving forward. Because look, there are those here, okay, and this is collective. This is the central banks who run the world. They are the one world government that we've all been warned about. They have a grand plan, which they started over a century ago. I mean, this is pretty much common knowledge to everyone that follows this blog here. Very methodical they have been, and they are working towards an end game, a goal here to own it all. It's straightforward. Now, if we understand what they want, doesn't that present opportunity for you and I? I think that's what this is all about. Anyway, so let's go over this, as I said here. So here's the title. Okay, expect extreme distortions, which we already have. Look, this is not a market, and I'm going to cover more of that here. What we have is almost like a free-for-all. Again, none of this is by accident. This is all by design. And what we're seeing now, this is all going to get very real at one point, but not yet, not for a long while. So we need to take advantage of everything that's in play right now, and then, stay ahead of the curve for what's eventually going to occur. This entire thing, people, look, before I read a little more here, this is all going to change here. What we do know is, collectively, central banks are working towards a one-world tokenized system, a cross-border, trans-world system, and they're going to force this all upon us here, but they need to take down the current system first, okay? And they're in the process of doing that right now. The global economy, it's done. It's dead. It's buried. The only thing that's keeping the markets alive here is the promise of more easy money, rate cuts moving forward, and we're going to talk more about that moving forward as we read through this thing. I do. So, anyway, keep all this in mind here. Okay, the economy, the consumer, they're done. And this phenomenon is going to get worse moving forward by design, but that means the markets are going higher on the back of this. Higher. I know there's people are going to say, well, hold on a minute. No, there's no connection. I've covered this a billion times, between the economy and the market. I've shown you this for years. Market, economy. And the faster the economy craters, And the more people are made to be slaves to the current system, the higher the market's going to go. As long as, and here's the big stipulation here, I don't know if I'm using the right word, but the big key is, as long as they keep rates suppressed, trick the market to believing that it's more liquid than it is, market's going up. Okay, and you and I, we have the best tool on the face of the earth to look at this in real time, in my opinion. Again, in the description of this video, a link to the MMRI, Mannarino Market Risk Indicator. There's nothing like it, in my opinion. All right, so with that said, let us move forward. So expect extreme distortions in the market to worsen. If we realize that, if we know that the distorted market, which is already beyond belief, is going to get worse, doesn't that present opportunity for us? Yeah, that's what it does. So market, you say. Well, I have some news for you, my beautiful friends. That's not in there. Today, there is no real market. Pay attention to this sentence here. Instead, what we have is a house of cards built over a pool of high explosives. Literally, I used high explosives for a reason. The current setup is this. A mechanism in which war, the expansion of war, we covered this a lot towards the end of last year, and a lot more central banks supplied easy money in the form of suppressed rates, okay, that's not in here, is going to distort asset prices across the spectrum, and more so than we've ever seen before. 2020, this is a pivotal year, in my opinion, and all the data I look at, all the stuff I study, tells me this. And then when we get into 25, I think it's going to be a whole new ball game. But 24, opportunity abounds here for us people. Okay, so in fact, we're about to witness price action distortions in the market more so than we've ever seen before. That presents opportunity for us. Okay, more opportunity. And with that, here's the sad truth of this. And with that, many thousands of people are going to be murdered. To make certain that it happens here. You think I'm making a joke here? The entire petrodollar system was built on the back of murdering tens of thousands of people. Again, those that control the world, and this is the central banks here collectively, they don't work independently of each other. They do this stuff, all of them, in tandem. They do the same things at the same times. There's no coincidence here. Okay. And right now, the central banks via the propaganda ministry, I'm talking about CNBC, Bloomberg, Fox Business, they're doing all they can right now to keep the market off balance, to keep people guessing as to what they're going to do. There's no guessing here. We know exactly what they're going to do, and I'm going to cover that here. On Thursday of last week, and again on Friday, maybe you don't know this, after stock market hours, on holidays, and on weekends, as a standard procedure, the United States and its coalition partners, which include the UK, Australia, Canada, Bahrain, and the Netherlands, all non-BRICS nations bombed multiple targets in Yemen. Okay, this is being sold to the American people and the people of the world as, or justified as, these military strikes are being sold to the public as attacks on Iranian, key word here, Iranian-backed Houthi rebels forces in a supposed effort to stop the Houthi forces from attacking international shipping in the Red Sea. And they're using this as a mechanism to sell you that this is the cause of inflation moving forward. No, it has nothing to do with that. This is all a setup. Everything here, this is deliberate. There's no accidents here why these are happening, why they're happening right now. For example, why attacks on targets in the Middle East or anywhere for that matter always happen after the market is closed, on holidays or on weekends. You think the timing of this is just by chance 100% of the time? How about no? Okay, so the immediate response to the attacks that the United States and its coalition partners carried out here was immediate. And it was exactly what you and I have spoken about a million times of would happen. Bam! Bond yields came down. This is exactly the intention here. And we've covered this over and over again. I'm going to describe a little more of this. For many months now, I have outlined how this exact scenario would unfold and the real intention behind it. It's pretty obvious here. Fear, okay? and in this case, the expansion of war drives cash into the perceived safety of debt. It pushes bond yields lower. Do you think that central banks aren't orchestrating this? Who funds this whole thing? Where does all the cash come from? Obviously, we don't have a war chest. None of the developed nations here, these coalition nations, have a war chest. It all comes from the central banks. The central banks run it all. They control the economy. They control the markets. They control the financial system. They control the flow of information. They are the world government. Okay. Anyway, what is happening right now behind closed doors at the Pentagon, we've discussed this before, is how they will incite a direct war / conflict with Iran to an unknown public. So why Iran? We covered this recently, but let's cover it a little more. The alliance of BRICS nations is a direct threat to the petrodollar. Understand, I can't tell you. First of all, I would hope that most of you understand what the petrodollar is here. And I'm not going to go over that right now, but I want you to do your own research here so you can understand the petrodollar and the power behind it. How this has allowed the US dollar to be vaulted to the world's reserve currency. And the Federal Reserve, whose enforcement arm, okay, maybe you don't know this, maybe you do know this, is the United States military. In total, including its nuclear arsenal. Okay, that's the enforcement arm of the Federal Reserve. It's the United States military, period. Anyway, let us move forward. The alliance of BRICS nations is a direct threat to the petrodollar, which just took a massive leap forward after several OPEC nations, including Iran, joining the BRICS on January 2nd of this year. I have been warning all of you, okay, for months and months and months, okay, now that how they can expect war to expand as a direct response as to these BRICS alliances. Again, the BRICS nations, they want to sidestep the dollar. They want their own system. This will not be allowed to happen without many, 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 many thousands and tens of thousands of people dying, okay? They're going to sell this to you any way that they can, but this is, again, to protect the petrodollar. This is what it's all about. Okay, anyway. Now, Iran, being a founding member of OPEC, okay, this is to send a message, now has a bomb site directly over it as in every manner of anything that they can do to draw Iran into a direct conflict with coalition nations, okay, is about to be utilized to send the BRICS a message. And that message is, do not threaten the petrodollar. Understand? This is a setup for World War III. That's where we're going. World War III has already begun. I told you this with the whole Ukraine-Russia thing, now with the expansion of war with Israel, and now the United States. Obviously, this is all the pieces being put in place right here. Anyway, the Federal Reserve, whose enforcement arm to protect the petrodollar is the U.S. military, including its nuclear arsenal, will be pointed at any target, inward, outward, and used against any nation, group of nations who threaten the petrodollar. Now, do you really believe that it's just by chance that these coalition nations here now performing and backing these attacks here in the Middle East, like Yemen, Houthi rebels, Iran, however they want to sell this to you, not one of these nations, not one of them, is a BRICS nation? You really think that's just by coincidence? Really, huh? No, you don't. Stability in the bond market. No, you already have an idea of this if you follow this blog, but pay a little more attention to what I'm about to tell you. The Federal Reserve is utilizing the mechanism of war to cause bond yields to drop. The Federal Reserve is using the mechanism of war to cause bond yields. Again, it's the Federal Reserve pulling the strings. It's central banks pulling the strings. They pay for it all. They're the ones who fund it all. They're the ones telling who to attack who and when. When, okay, as we said, do attacks like these happen during market hours? Do attacks like these happen ever while the market is open? No. They happen off hours, holidays, and weekends. Wow. Anyway, within a few months, the Federal Reserve is going to cut rates. I don't care what they're trying to sell you right now. Turn on Bloomberg, Fox Business, CNBC. They're trying to say, maybe not. Maybe not. They're floating out this freak, that freak, and the other freak. It's a lie. Okay, the central banks of the world already have the consumer by the throat. They're creating slaves to the system. They already have the world economy exactly where they want it, in free fall. So they can again issue in a new system. This is what this is all about, but they got to take down the current system first. Anyway, within a few months, the Federal Reserve is going to cut rates, even though inflation continues to rise. The expansion of war is being instituted to drive cash into the perceived safety of debt, which stabilizes the debt market. That's all market participants want to see here. Okay? Doesn't matter where the economy is going. Doesn't matter fundamental factors, valuations, forward guidance, PE ratios, all the stuff that should matter in a market doesn't matter anymore. It's all about easy money. It's about faking the illusion, it's all an illusion, of liquidity in the markets. You understand? I think we got this. All right, anyway. Let's move forward here. The more bombs and missiles that fall on the Middle East, the lower bond yields will go, which in turn makes the job of central banks collectively easier moving forward as they cut rates. Does that make sense to you? Okay. Expanding war in the Middle East is also positive for energy, as it's pretty obvious here, and crude oil. The goal here for the Federal Reserve and central banks is to further distort to the upside, okay, stock prices via the mechanism of war. I have told all of you repeatedly that war is bullish for the stock market. Again, suppresses rates, cash looks for places to go, up goes the stock market. This is an illusion. The economy is in free fall. It couldn't be worse. The consumer, they're dead, strangled to death here. But the illusion of the market is going to be maintained, and war is going to help that happen. We've spoken about this so long. Anyway, war also serves another key purpose. You know about this. And that is the need for more borrowed dollars. Okay, the illusion of liquidity. No other human endeavor generates more need for borrowed dollars than war. Nothing even comes close. With more war, and there is much more to come, the already beyond hyperbubble in debt will further balloon. That's part of the mechanism here. Again, the debt-based system, the debt-based economic model is a curse upon the world. Who runs it? It's the central banks. So therefore, they are a curse upon the world. And again, collectively, central banks will be more than happy to lend. Those of you that follow this blog realize that a central bank's power resides in one thing, their ability to inflate, to create their currency out of nothing. These debt units that we don't even own. We work to borrow them from the central banks. We owe these bills that we work for back to the issuing central bank, which they create out of nothing, and they create, again, interest out of nothing. It's the most perverted, sick, twisted system in the face of the earth, and it's gonna end up with a culling of the population of the world, and that's really what this is all going to as well. It should be very obvious what's happening, but where are the opportunities here? If we understand that the market is going to be distorted to the upside, if we understand here that right now, okay, and this is a no-brainer at least to me, and I hope it is to you, the commodity prices are incredibly suppressed. Well, that's exactly what we've been doing, you and I. Does it sound familiar to you? Because I've known this for years, what we're seeing here, and so have you, if you follow this blog. Take advantage of everything that comes your way. In my opinion, and this is almost a no-brainer here, rates are going to remain suppressed by the mechanism of war. Central banks are going to supply easy money here. Markets going up. Stay along the market. I know everyone's calling for a market crash every other day. Okay, I know there's a lot of YouTubers out here. And they think that war is going to bring the market down. No. In no way, shape, or form is that going to happen. They don't understand the markets. These people who are trying to sell you that. They really don't here. Me, I am a market guy to the highest order. I understand how markets work. I know how cash moves through the markets, okay? And that's why I'm here, to help all of you understand that. It's not a very complex thing if you realize what the game is all about. Right now, the opportunities lie in acquiring commodities for the eventual meltdown, which is going to occur at a point they choose. You understand? Okay, they're going to continue to inflate global debt, fake liquidity in the markets, foster the illusion that the market is stable via the mechanism of war. I know how crazy that sounds. War and more easy money from central banks is going to suppress rates. Okay, that's what it's designed to do. And that will, again, distort asset prices across the spectrum here. So betting against the debt, becoming your own central bank, exposure to commodities, acquiring gold, silver, my favorite asset of all time, being diversified here is the key. is a key. I've kept all of you in the right spots for years, and I'm going to continue to do that to the best of my ability moving forward. You all know that. All right. Look, kind of a long video, but I think this has been a very important video. As I said, people, all these things, I put these out all the time for you. My free newsletter, link in the description of this video. Get your copy. Share it, get it out there, read this through several times, let it sink in. Most people have no idea what's going on at all. They believe that the world is run by kings, queens, presidents, monarchs, or dictators. It's not true at all. It's all the central banks who run it all collectively. They are one world government that we've all been warned was about to happen, and they want you to think that that's not true. But unfortunately, it is true. But we can take advantage of everything because we know their game. We know what they want. And that gives us an edge that I said earlier. It's just, it makes us invincible, in my view, at least from that perspective. Going beyond that, people, what do I leave you off with every Friday? Love each other, care about each other, be charitable. We got to embrace each other, okay? Their mechanism of control is divide and conquer, keep us separated by any mechanism that they could come up with here. Blue team, red team, skin color, religion, geopolitical, wherever you live in the world, no, we're one family here, okay? And we could overthrow the system easily if we came together. They would not allow that to happen, okay? Don't fall through that trapdoor. This guy here loves you a lot. Please share the video. Get it out there. If you got something out of this, I want to hear from you. Comment, please. Also, those thumbs up, people, I can't stress this to you enough. I need more people to give these videos a thumbs up. It allows the algorithms to pick up the videos, and YouTube shows them. Without that, it's just will fade away into obscurity, and I hope that's not going to happen here. Okay, we gotta raise our awareness. We got to get more people on board to understand what's happening. Anyway, with that said, I'm counting on you. All right, love you a lot. See you in the morning. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other.